And we're live. Hi, everybody. It's Jason with Smith's Forge Gaming. We're going to be wrapping up investigation into the Broken Keep tonight. Wrapping up with part 2. I know it's been a lot of months, but I'm excited to get started with these fine people here, and hopefully it'll be something worth watching. And I guess we will go introduce everybody again, starting from my left. Evan, mind introducing yourself and character?
So I'm playing Caden Lex. I'm a kind of rugged outlander who came to the town where we left in the previous session a while ago and helped kind of build that town. And I decided to throw in and try and do what I can to save the city that I helped make. And I'm like a 45-year-old man wearing scale mail, and I have almost just a lumberjack's axe on my back. I have like good old stubble going, and I don't look very kempt, but that's about
it. Excellent. And Jeremy.
Yeah, hey everybody. I am Jeremy with the Erasmus Expeditions YouTube channel. I am also a third of a podcast called The Dues of Yore. You can also find that on YouTube. And yeah, man, I'm really, really excited to kind of be getting back into it and playing Vigor again. And he's a half-orc paladin of Vengeance. And he's kind of a goofy guy, but I really enjoy playing him.
Excellent. All right, Jose.
Hey everybody, my name's Jose. I'm playing Erevan. He's half-elf cleric of life, and he pretty much gets sent to the town by his order to help out and find out what's going on in the area. And my YouTube channel is D20Sai.
Cool deal. Tyler?
Hey, I'm Tyler. I'll be playing Griff, the halfling fighter, 2-weapon fighting, light armor, stab things and get money kind of guy. I don't have a YouTube channel or anything.
All right, cool. Well, introductions out of the way. We will get started. Well, when last we left the party, a bloody battle was just held in a little hamlet square right outside of a burning building. Unarmored in some cases, and a little worse for wear, find themselves staring over the horizon just above an old tree where silhouetted in the hilltops is the destination they've been set out to find. A desiccated husk of a once magnificent fortress. As they stare off one by one, making contact with the shadow in the hills, we will pan down to the party. What would y'all like?
So I kind of imagine that the first thing that we see as the camera kind of pans down is the naked backside of a half-orc seated on the edge of the fountain, the kind of stone fountain of this village. We'd literally just see his very extremely stupid muscular back and his butt seated on this fountain with his chin kind of in his hands. And he's watching the burning in waiting for it to burn down enough so that he can go check the wash tub that he was taking a bath in to see if his armor's still in there.
Yeah, I can see Erevan like looking at him, looking at the building burning, kind of like sobbing, and he'd be like, "Sorry." He would start heading that way with him.
Yeah, I imagine the building itself collapsed fairly early on, and the real heat of the fire has died down quite a bit now. I can picture you guys just waiting for it to cool down enough to dig through the rubble of the charred wood.
Griff's looking for knives, kitchen knives, daggers, it doesn't matter. So any knife he can find, he's taking.
Well, lucky for Griff, almost on all of the villagers, he'll find a dagger of any size. They all were coming for you for blood, so they were all armed, and you do not find yourself in a shortage of blades at the moment. Several hours into the night, you can see the morning's light starting to peak just over the horizon as rubble is being pulled off. And lucky for Vigor, when the building collapsed, the tub itself rolled and fell bottom up. So as the blaze went over it, all of his gear and armor that he had so lovingly been trying to shine and take care of after a day's travel was well protected by this tub. Do you guys want to prepare for the journey up the mountain, or are you guys gonna get strapped and get going immediately?
Well, Caden wouldn't know where they took his stuff when he was kidnapped and tied to a tree. So I guess Caden would try and look around and see if he can find any of his belongings.
I don't remember where Griff was at, but I remember he took a lot of hits in that fight.
That's true. And Caden would just be kind of contemplating what in the hell they actually just killed and like how it came to exist. He hasn't really seen anything like that before, so he'd be a little shell shocked.
Everin, I imagine that you would have tended to while waiting.
Yeah, before we all went to rest, he would have like healed everybody, make sure they were all right, especially the naked man.
Okay. While everybody is doing that, character, I imagine, wouldn't have to look all that far into one of the cottages to find a bundled up set of your gear thrown in a corner. You don't know what they were doing with it, or nor do you really care at this point. All you know is they wanted your life, and now you took theirs. So we're into the morning. The sun is up. Birds in the air chirping. The sound of the woodlands is echoing across the entire village here. What little sleep some of you managed to get the night before isn't enough, and you do feel worse for wear. But the target in sight, you see where one of the roads leads out of the village and into the woods, and you can see just before it goes around a bend into the hills. Guessing that might provide a way to the keep itself.
Do we have any idea how long it's going to take to go from the town to the keep?
not having an idea of what kind of terrain is going up, but maybe going by just that there is a beaten path going that way, your rough guess would be probably half the day.
And we have provisions like food and water. We've kind of, finished gathering that up.
You did have that cart, and for whatever reason or another, was not pillaged. I guess they were going to take care of that after they took care of you.
Could I have found a horse that was still living in the town at all? Or I don't know how extensive the fire got, but
no, there were no livestock
okay.
outside of like 2 cows that were in a pen, but no horses, ponies, or anything of that kind.
Well, we don't need a horse. We got Vigor, right?
Is the path wide enough for a cart?
The path seems old, but in its prime would have seemed fit for an entire platoon to walk abreast down. This looks like it might have been set up by the keep, the people that put up the keep itself. However long ago that may have been.
So Vigor's kind of standing nearby, kind of with his arms folded across his chest. And every time he moves, there's kind of a squishy noise as water kind of seeps out of his armor. And he kind of nods at this old road. And he says, yes, it is old, but I think it will do just fine. I will work hard today. Yes. And he kind of starts moving towards the cart with the ridiculous harness, and start getting himself back into it.
Yeah, Aaron would walk up to Viger and he would be like, hold on a second. And he's going to cast mending on his armor so that way it doesn't look all like burnt and, all soggy and stuff.
Oh, yes, almost like brand new. Thank you very much.
And I guess Caden would kind of like heft his axe and point it to the road and say, the faster we get up there, the sooner we get back to Far Reach.
Talking about that, do you guys want to eat or do we just want to try to make as much time as we can?
Did you not eat? I thought that maybe you would eat when the rest of us were eating. Did you not eat?
Oh, my bad. I didn't know we had eating, so because my character can cook, so I figured he would cook and whatnot. But if we ate, it's like
it's okay. He was busy bandaging people up. Okay. We will get to you guys heading into the path, which turns out a lot longer than first anticipated. The path winds this way and that through little hills and dales, constantly going up, steeper in some areas and not so much in others. What it ends up being is almost an entire day's travel. Night has fallen again. Vigor, I need you to give me a perception check.
Okay. Result is a 10.
Okay. A wind comes out of the hills, ripping from the north and down through the valleys and hits you all face on. You smell something. You don't know what, but you know that you've smelled it before. It gives you an uneasy feeling as you press forward. The keep now, the road comes up to a cliff and winds its way around. From the cliff, you can see bits of the wall that are broken in. It looks like broken out, as some of the stonework has ended up not only some of the way into the path, but off the path and down the hills beside you. You are here. How do you wish to proceed?
Well, I feel Caden would suggest that we not go in the creepy castle in the middle of the night, and that we make camp outside.
What is this? What is this smell? Is it pungent? Is it sweet? Is it acrid? I mean, we may not be able to identify it, but like, how is it assailing us?
It's almost sweet, but in a very sickly way, and it's very, very faint. It was in your nose and out in almost an instant. Like roses that have been sitting on a grave for too long.
We possibly roll some kind of intelligence or wisdom check to maybe determine what it is, where we've come across it before.
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, give me an intelligence check as you try to remember.
Would any of our skills apply?
No, but you're going to be at a -2.
Okay.
Is it just him or everybody?
You can make an intelligence check, but you have nothing to really draw on to remember.
I had a -3 to that roll, and I just rolled a 20. So it's a 17 total.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Your mind is brought back to one of the very first combats you ever saw, were ever a part of as a young warrior. You remember, as it was over, enemies and allies alike, just mountains of them piling up, and the pyres setting fire to them. And you remember then much stronger the air hitting you as the meat from all of these humanoids cooked in the night sky.
Smell that? Yes, anyone? Do you smell this?
What is it?
I'm getting hungry.
Yes, me too. But no, you would not want to eat. It is me, humanoids. These they are burning people, bodies. I know this smell too well.
Hearing this, Caden would look around for any sign of smoke or anything like that to see where this is coming from.
Now you're unable to see any kind of smoke. The cliffside as you're walking up the path is blocking an entire side of your field of view, and everything to the other side is just trees and mountains. No smoke rising anywhere. It's just in the air. Very close.
This is a good sign. It means that we can have fire tonight to stay warm because they won't smell it. And in the morning, we get to kill everybody because we know they are bad guys.
I think that sounds pretty good. Our little friend over here is getting a little bloodthirsty.
It's been too long since I've cut someone.
All right, are you guys going to set up camp anywhere in the open? Are you trying to find a secure place that the hobgoblins that have taken up residence in this place might not find you?
The places where this keep has kind of tumbled down onto the path and below, how far down below us are the pieces?
This immediate side of the road falls probably about 40 feet and then will hit other trees and a hill rolling out much flatter. It's a pretty stark fall at this point.
And what about the ruins that are on the road or a part of the road?
These are just busted up big stones that the wall was built out of. Like I said, looking at it, it looks like there was a battle, but instead of the walls being battered in, the walls were battered out, and the stones from the wall itself fell out. There's a dozen or so bigger rocks, bigger cut pieces of stone scattered about.
Are they close enough that we could possibly like sleep amongst them? Maybe even hide a fire from like line of sight from the rest of the keep?
You could probably rest behind it. I don't know about a fire though. The light would probably not only shine against the wall, the cliffside itself, but also make it pretty easy to spot anybody that was coming up or down the path.
Well, actually, the cover of night might help us sneak up on the hobgoblins if we want to go now.
I am okay with this. My axe is thirsty.
I got a little idea. I don't know how good it would work, but if I cast light on an item, would the light be good enough? Or, well, that's not going to warm us up, actually. Never mind.
I'm sorry, I had a goblin distracting me. What was that, Jose?
I was thinking about casting light on something, but then I realized that's not going to keep us warm, so it don't matter.
Okay. Are we pressing on or are we camping?
Yeah, I say we press on. Let's get this done.
Absolutely. Vigor will start getting out of the harness for the cart and kind of securing himself with, things like rope and hooks and, pittons and things.
Okay. The gates, or what's left of them, are not that far ahead. You travel another couple of minutes, and as it rounds out into the gate, doors were obviously there at some point, but those are long gone. The planks rotted and nowhere to be found. The roofs in a lot of these buildings, as you look into it, there's a big central building that looks to be a mess hall of sorts, a kitchen, several chimneys, or at least used to be. Various buildings going back and forth, or going along the wall, and what looks to be what might have been a chapel on the far end, built into the cliff itself. Everything is dilapidated. walls are half collapsed. There are no real roofs to speak of anymore. What you do notice immediately is char coming from the central building itself, spreading out from there and into the chapel. As you follow the char with your eyes, what you see is dozens and dozens and dozens of pikes in the ground with heads on them. These are not ancient heads. These are not old. These are very fresh. Vigor, you immediately recognize it as sworn enemies. Here are your hobgoblins.
Vigor takes a couple of steps towards it and drops to his knees and drops his great axe right in front of him, and he kind of sharply inhales. No, they've stolen this from me. Whoever's done this will pay. They will pay with their own lives for taking this from Vigor.
This just means we get to fight something more fun.
I have tracked these hobgoblins for 3 years. 3 years I have tracked my way to here so that I could slaughter all of them. This could have been my work of art. But no, some I will not say word. It is unbecoming of Paladin.
How do you know there's not more of them in there?
He kind of turns towards the cleric, kind of half hopeful. Are you kidding? Are you kidding with Vigor? Are you teasing me?
No, I mean, there's got to be more than them. They usually come in numbers, so there might be more for each.
Okay.
There's always more goblins.
Yes. I like the sound of this. Optimism, they call it. Yes. I like this. He goes over and picks up his great axe and kind of wipes his tears out of the corners of his eyes.
Everin, can I get a religion check out of you?
Absolutely. Give me a second. $18 total.
Oh yeah. You take a closer look at the pikes. They weren't set up in a line or a circle or anything. It was much more deliberate than that. You approach and kind of walk around, eyeing. It's a symbol. And then it hits you like a bolt from the Lightbringer himself. This is an unholy symbol from the Bloodlord, also known as Orcus.
Yeah, then as he realizes that, he would like drop on his knees and start praying, and then he would have Vigor come over to him, and he would whisper it to his ear so he can tell the rest of the group how he like prays for protection.
When you start to mutter these words, when you dare to bring these holy words to this desecrated place, a wheezy, raspy laughter echoes from all around you. It's hard to discern where it could be from, but it hits all of your ears just the same. The sacrifice has been made. Join them if you dare. And as he says dare, his voice picks up. The hobgoblins' skulls, their heads, their eyes shoot open, and they all start screaming in agonizing pain. At that moment, you hear a clatter and a crash as bodies, headless bodies, are now walking out of one of the buildings to your left. Everybody roll initiative.
And almost as soon as Caden, this voice would have hit Caden's ears, you all would see him kind of slowly start backing up, like almost instinctively, not even thinking about it, moving his way towards the exit. This is definitely not what he signed up for, and he is freaking out a little bit.
Vigor has gripped his battle axe tighter, kind of fighting back the ice that is threatening to take over his veins. And he just says, "Yes, this I have trained for years. I've prepared my mind. I've prepared my body. I've prepared my soul for this moment. Bring yourself forth, creature. Face Vigor and his axe."
Hey, Vigor. Ready to turn some live things into some dead things?
Or some dead things into some dead things.
Kill them all.
Either way.
All right. So, Vigor, you spring into action. As you said, you've trained your whole life for this. And while the hobgoblins may be technically dead, the glory can still be yours. And you tell me what you do as you spring into action.
He kind of turns and starts this almost hearty laugh towards the rest of the group as he realizes he gets a jump on the rest of them and starts sprinting across the room, kind of choking down onto his great axe, where both of his hands are at the bottom of the great axe, swings it in a huge arc, and just comes straight down towards the first one.
All right. What was that attack roll?
However, unfortunately, I'm going to spend the point of inspiration that I have to reroll that.
Excellent.
Oh, no. So a 5, unfortunately, is still better than a 1. So I'm going to have to stick with the 5, and it's only going to be an 11 total.
Okay. You spring forward, and you bring your axe into one of these bodies, and it just sticks straight into the flesh. They have not been dead long, but no discernible damage at all as it reaches forward to grab you. From here, I believe we're at Jose.
All right, so Erevaran, who was on his knees praying, and now he sees all this going on, he would get up, and he would slowly start walking back, and then he would just raise his shield, and as he's raising his shield, he would do a prayer, and then all three of them would feel energized, and that's me casting 8 that would get +5 to their health, and that would be it for me. I would just stay in the middle in between them.
Okay, when you invoke your divine powers, the heads on the pikes scream, as if they're being tortured in the darkness that they now find themselves in.
So you would hear that, knowing that this is really unholy, and even though he does not, like hobgoblins, he will yell, "Whoever you are, whatever you are, I will burn you with my holy fire from my goddess. There will be no mercy."
All right. Griff, you're up.
All right, Griff's gonna pull his short sword in one hand and a scimitar in the other, and he's charging into the crowd. First one he sees is getting short sword first. So that's only a 12 for the short sword, and then bonus action for the scimitar. That's 11. Missing on both.
Yeah, you find yourself in the same boat as Vigor. They don't even move. You leap forward and shove your blades into the bodies, and it's nothing. It's like carving a side of beef at a butcher shop. And still they press forward. Evan.
So Caden, seeing even the like brave halfling jump in, Caden wouldn't be able to just leave these guys here. So almost begrudgingly, he would run up and swing his axe like all over the halfling's head, and try and go for the one of these guys' necks. That is a natural 1 and a 20 for my 2 attacks.
Okay.
Not a natural 20.
You lay into one of them with your first attack. It's the same as the other two. Your axe finds its way home, and as you rear back to strike again, hands grab you as they all start to make their attack now.
Should I roll damage on one of those?
No.
Hits? No. Okay.
No. All right. So, Evan, the one that you were attacked by, its claws just slip right off of you, and the body itself falls to the ground. Behind you, you hear a grunt from a specific head. Griff, as you have both of your blades in, the hobgoblin's hands reach out and grab you by the gut. But what kind of armor are you wearing?
I think he's wearing studded leather. Let me double check. Yeah, studded leather. He's got a 17 AC.
Okay. You feel the gnarled fingertips just reach right under where your torso's armor would be and dig into your flesh, taking 3 damage as it reaches in and just starts to rip flesh off of your side. Vigor, that is not going to hit you. The same thing with you, as your axe is in the body of this thing. It's trying to claw you, but claws versus steel don't really fare that well. Panic starts to set in as you all find yourself being surrounded by at least a dozen of these things. Headless corpses.
I think Erevan would look at everybody and he would be like, "I know this is really dumb, but try to go for the head, see what happens."
Okay. Once it's your round, I believe we're back up to Vigor at this point.
So Vigor is kind of starting to put his elbows up, kind of shove some of these things back so he can get enough room to swing this great axe, which takes quite a bit of space to actually wield about. And he starts turning around whenever Erevan has spoken, and he turns and kind of spies where the heads are, and now he's understood what's going on. He thinks, at least, he hopes, just like Erevan has suggested, and he's going to start trying to move his way, basically taking a disengage action if I can, to move through where the heads are, move over to where the heads are.
Okay. As you're being grabbed, can you give me a strength check just to push the body off of you before you make your movement?
Another one, Haas.
As you as you go to push against the body, it stumbles backwards, pulling you with it, and now you find yourself falling on top of this corpse with your axe handle down on its chest, surrounded by 3 others.
Do I still have any movement left, or is that it?
You can use a movement to roll off this thing.
Okay, absolutely will.
Okay.
Just gonna roll over to the side and then start to try to stand up when I can next.
Okay. You'll rolling out. That will. I'll treat that as like kind of like a 5-foot step. I guess. Removing 2 of the threats from you. You still got one of the corpses standing up right above you. And Jose, we're down to you.
Gotcha. So Erevan would move a little closer, and then he would just like point his hand at one of the heads, and he would cast a Sacred Flame on it. And that is, I forget what save. Let me see. Dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, not much dexterity for a head on a spike. So Sacred Flame engulfs the head on this spike closest to you. Its screams are unholy in your ears. I mean, they're just they sink into your very soul. And the body that you assume that this head once belonged to bursts into flame, writhing and waving its arms, trying to put itself out, falls and stops moving.
And as I hear all those like unholy words, he would just like cover his ears and get on his knees, like he's trying to, like recover, trying to, make sense of what's going on.
A balish green light starts to emanate from all of the head's eyes. Not very bright, but enough to notice. And they all start speaking in unison, a black language that none of you recognize. Griff, you're up.
All right. Where are the heads in relation to Griff? Is like the crowd of headless zombies in between him and the heads, or?
No, you guys are in between the bodies and the heads. As you guys were standing kind of in the center of this fortress, the building with the char emanating from it is behind you, and the bodies themselves have come from a larger building to your left attached to the stone wall. So you guys are in between.
All right. And I'm currently grappled by one of them, right?
Yes.
All right. What is it? Acrobatics to get out of that?
I will allow that. Yeah. Roll me acrobatics.
Right. 25.
Oh, easily. You're hit with both pain and relief as the dead thing's fingertips rip out from your side. You're bleeding fairly profusely at this point, but not too hurt. You find yourself free from the grip.
All right. So he's going to try to put a little bit of distance between him and that zombie and turn around and throw one dagger at one head and another at the next head.
Excellent. Yeah. Roll me 2 attacks.
All right. First one. I'm going to use luck to re-roll that. That's not any better. So I think 14 for the first one.
Hits.
And 20 for the second.
Both hit.
All right, so damage. It's 8 damage for the first, and 8 for the second.
Okay. As both these blades sink into their targets, 2 bodies just falls to the ground, ceasing movement. There appear to be about 9 of these things left. The voices coming from the heads are now in an echoing chant, as if they're in the middle of some dark ritual, if they were alive.
And you would see Caden kind of catching on finally, watching the rest of the group kind of do this thing, almost begrudgingly, like loop the axe back into his belt and then pull out a crossbow and trying to like dodge these skeleton hands grabbing at him, kind of try and just crouch down and take a shot at one of these heads. So that is a 13. Does that hit?
Absolutely a hit.
Oh, yeah. Want me to roll damage on that guy?
Yes, please.
It is 5 points of damage.
5 points. Okay. Yeah. Again, another body hits the ground. The chanting becomes cacophonous as it echoes throughout the walls. It almost feels like as if the ground is shaking at this point. The bodies stop moving and kind of slump as a light emanates from the mouths of the skulls themselves into the building with the char, where Everin, you will notice 2 red eyes peering out from the darkness that appear to be much bigger than you're comfortable with, and a roar as this disgusting ogre-looking thing, for lack of a better term, barrels out an apron on its bloated corpse, and meat cleavers in both hands, lays eyes on both of you, or on all of you, as it charges. Everin, you would be the closest to it, so it's coming for you, sir. That's going to be its lumbering attacks are easily predicted, and its cleaver comes down as you dodge out of the way, slamming into the ground. You get a good look at its face, blackened, skin looking as if it's boiling off of this thing. Its eyes no longer there, but the red glow as if from another plane is staring right at you. Vigor, we are back up to you, sir. All the corpses have stopped moving. They are on the ground. The heads have stopped chanting, and this thing is now in front of you.
Vigor is kind of still laying on top of this corpse, kind of trying to just beat the haft of his axe into this thing's sternum over and over again. And he kind of looks up and slows down the rhythm of his strikes as he sees this beast kind of step into the room. And he says, okay, yes, we'll do this. And he kind of stands up onto his knees and kind of picks up his axe, kind of rolls his shoulders back and says, you are a very big, nasty creature. This is going to hurt. And he runs headlong towards this creature, once again brandishing his great axe. (11 plus 6, 17).
Absolutely a hit, sir. Roll me some damage.
Okay. As he hits with his great axe, he reaches down into that training that he has, having been taught that things that are demonic, things that are not of this world, they're from an evil plane, are abominations, that they have to be scrubbed from this plane. He is going to use Divine Smite to channel one of his paladin spells. I have first level spells, so charge a first level spell into it. Is this thing actually demonic? A fiend? Undead?
It doesn't appear to be anything undead. It's more demonic in form.
So it would classify as a fiend for the extra damage that Divine Smite would get?
Yes, it would.
Excellent. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so that's 13 plus I rolled max for my great axe, which is 16. So that's 29 points of damage if I'm not adding that up wrong.
Oof. All right. Yeah, just holy light emanates from your blade as it sinks in and sears a huge gash into this creature. It howls in pain, bowling over on itself and rolling onto the ground before it finds itself back on its feet, staring directly at you. And Jose.
So as he, as Everett sees Beaker fighting this guy, just slash the crap out of him, he will walk up to it and grab it where he wounded at and grab it with both hands, and he will be like, let your master know that we're coming for him. My goddess is not going to put up with this. And he will use Seekers of Flame as he's holding the wound. Oh, that's a dexterity check.
I'm sorry, what was it?
He has to make a dexterity check.
A dexterity check? Okay. He rolls a 12, so that's an 11.
He doesn't make it.
Okay.
It's 14.
14 points of damage?
1 second, let me roll it for you. He takes 6.
Okay, yeah, this hits him, and again you can see it just burning into its flesh. It howls as it gets up, standing on its feet once again, towering over all of you.
And Aravan would step back like 3 feet, but he would pull his shield out and leave his hand like this to let it know that he ain't afraid.
Excellent.
Griff gets a running start, and he's gonna. Vigor's directly in front of this monster, right? All right, he's gonna start a baseball slide about 5 feet beside Vigor, past this giant or whatever's knees, and he's gonna try to jam 2 short swords in the back of his knee and knock him prone with trip.
Excellent.
First attack. Ooh. That's 25 to hit.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, so that's 1 plus 5 plus a D8. That'll be 9 damage on that one. And the next attack, he's prone, so he has to make a strength save, DC 15, or he's prone.
He rolled a 20 on that strength.
Well, on the second attack, he's going to try it again. Let me use my second luck for the day. Oh, nope, that's halfling luck, not the feet luck. Never mind, I only have 1 a day. So I'm going to miss with that second attack.
Okay. Yeah, the blade sinks into his leg just above the knee. But he does not buckle like you wanted him to.
All right, well, I'm going to burn an action surge and try it one more time. Oh, that's better. 23.
Absolutely a hit.
Okay, so it's going to be DC 15 strength save.
Does a 14?
15 was the DC.
Okay.
And 15 damage. And he's prone.
Oh, all right. Yeah. As your blade enters in right at the back of the knee, the flesh and bone just separate as the thing topples over, almost legless now, as it's on its back. And we will roll around to Evan.
So kind of seeing this thing topple and seeing these zombies around him stop moving, kind of get a rush of just everybody else is going in. I've just seen some like holy magic. I'm gonna go and do my part, and he would pull out his axe and like walk up, and he would maybe even walk on the chest of this ogre, and just like he's cutting wood every single day, he would raise his axe above his head and strike twice on the like forehead of this guy.
Okay.
So that is a 13 and a 21.
21 hits, the 13 does not.
Ooh, okay. So I just roll one of these guys. Oh, do I have advantage on those because he's prone?
I would probably say yes. Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Okay, so I'm going to keep that 21 then. That will be my first attack. And then does a 19 hits, yeah?
Oh, yes. Yeah, 19 hits.
So he takes 13 points of damage as I'm just like chunking into this guy's skull with my axe.
13 total?
Yeah.
Okay. You hear the sickening sound of your blade just sinking into this thing's skull, and you swear that you see it smiling, and it heaves, and its giant hand reaches up. And does a 15 hit you?
No. So maybe I would just like, as I see it lock eyes with me, I would just kind of like dive off the side of it, losing the little brave energy I had.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, its giant paw swats up just millimeters from your face as you fall backwards off of this thing. A very close call for a very brave move. Vigor, we are back up to you, sir. This thing is swung around and is trying to stand.
So I think he's kind of almost rolled over onto its side and is like putting one of its hands down on the ground.
Yes, sir.
Vigor is going to collect the head of his battle axe or his great axe, and he's going to take a run, just a short jaunt over to where this thing's putting all of its weight on that arm, trying to stand, and is just going to hack as hard as he can right at the wrist.
Okay. When you roll your attack, can you make it -1 of whatever bonus you would normally have? Just subtract 1 from it, just because for the aim shot.
Okay, so that would normally be a 19, so an 18.
Still hit, sir.
Excellent. Okay, cool. D12. Oh my god. It's another 12 on the D12, so that's another 16 points of damage to this thing. And I'm not going to bother to juice it. I'll hold back.
Okay, yeah. Your axe separates this thing's gnarled hand from its wrist, and it falls down once again. Blood emanating from its wounds on its head, but the fire in its eyes still just as strong as when you first locked onto it. This thing is not going away without a fight. Jose, sir, it's up to you.
Just so everyone would start like walking at this thing, you know, he got his hand ready and he's just sitting in the ground trying to get up. Well, so fucked up. So he would just take his hand, put it on his face, and start chanting, and he would cast Sacred Flames again.
All right. You're a sadistic cleric, sir. That's a 3 on the dice, so that's negative on that dex save.
All right. 8 points of damage.
8 points. Okay, yeah, a Sacred Flame hits this thing. The light almost just removes the flesh from the head of this thing, and it is now charred almost to the collarbone. Flesh just gone, and a skeletal face roaring at you in unholy defiance.
Holy shit. He would definitely get up and be like, oh. And he would just start backing up like 10 feet away. He would be like, oh.
All right, Griff.
All right, still prone, right?
Yes, missing half a leg and a hand.
All right, he's going to step back about maybe 10 feet and get a running start, run up Vigor's back, and come down with the short sword and the scimitar in his chest.
Nice. Okay, roll me those attacks, sir.
Oh. 19 for the first.
Hit.
And 19 for the second.
Absolutely. All right, let's see where this goes.
So 8 on the first attack. 10 on the second.
Okay, yeah. This thing, you come down and shove both blades where you assume a heart might be, and the thing splays with the impact. Now it looks as if you've really done some damage to this thing. It looks hurt and very much worse for the wear. I think that would be an understatement with the skeletal head staring at you guys. Will that wrap your round up?
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Evan.
So Caden would kind of step in using this distraction of this flying halfling and just take some swings right at its leg, trying not to get too close to it. That is a 23 and a 21.
Both
Those
hit.
both hit.
Mhm.
So that is 6, 9, 12 points of damage as I just hack into this thing's leg.
All right. Yeah, as you're hacking and the halfling is on top with his blaze in, the thing at this point is just twitching, trying to move, but not very successful at it. It is still trying to reach out to anybody that might be in reach. And with the one hand that it has left, rolls a 14 to reach for the halfling. Is that a hit, Griff?
AC is 17.
Okay, that absolutely misses. Is it just?
I'm going to use Riposte to use my reaction to attack.
Okay.
Is he still prone?
Oh yeah. He's still on his belly, reaching up, swatting at you, trying to knock you off of it.
All right, 25 to hit with the short sword.
Absolutely.
Okay. 11 damage.
Okay. The again, the short sword finds its way into this monstrosity, and with a howl, it stops moving. The light goes out of its eyes, and you start to feel a heat coming off of it. It starts to skull. A light starts emanating from the bone itself as if it's glowing hot metal. The flesh of this thing starts to catch fire. Griff and Evan, I need you guys to, Caden, I need you guys to make a dexterity check or take 1d6 of fire damage.
Saving throw? 20.
Griff?
$15.
All right. Yeah, both of you get out of its way, get out of the way of the flame. Griff, I imagine you, in kind of a spectacular way, somersault off this thing and land upon your feet like, what's up? As this thing's flesh burns away, leaving more char on the ground, a little darker than what was surrounding it, all leading towards the chapel in front of you.
And you'd see as the body like was about to explode, you would see Caden kind of take 2 steps back and then trip over like a loose cobblestone and just fall right on his ass as this thing just like explodes in front of him.
Very nice. Yeah, you guys kind of catch your breath, not knowing what the hell that thing just was or why it was there. But it's becoming clear that you're in for more than you bargained for, than just a bloodthirsty tribe of hobgoblins taking up residence in an old castle.
So, Aravan would like look at the group and he would be like, "Can you guys give me a hand?" And he would point at all the like undead bodies, so that way we can grab them and stack them, so that way he could like burn the bodies, because he doesn't feel comfortable leaving the bodies to be reanimated, especially after everything that's been going on.
Is there anything worth grabbing on these bodies? Or are they just like naked hobgoblins?
No, they're not naked, but they're tattered. Anything that might have resembled armor is just in tatters. There's nothing you could really think to do with any of it.
Right, Griff starts helping stack them.
However they died, it was brutal.
And as they do that, Caden would take his axe to the rest of these spikes and like take down this unholy symbol spike by spike.
Yeah, I think Vigor's going to help him.
So yeah, pretty much Aravan and Vigor would be like grabbing the bodies, putting them in like a pile, taking the heads off the spikes, and after we do that, he would like get on his knees and start praying to Serendipity to cleanse his unholy filth that's in here, and then he would take his hand and press it on the bodies and pretty much use his sacred flames to like burn the bodies. And he would look at Viger and he'd be like, "Hey, at least you got to kill some of your hobgoblins, huh?"
Yes, this is not vengeance. This is not justice, but it is good substitute.
All right. At this point, I asked you guys ahead of time to prepare a level 4 character sheet. We're going to start kicking that in right now. You guys achieved level 4 with that awesome combat. That was really killer. How do you guys want to proceed?
Can I say a prayer before we go in?
Oh, I hope you're saying many of them.
I know, but he would grab all of their hands. So he pretty much would have like Caden on one side, Viger on the other side, and then you see Griff right in front of him, and he would pretty much give them like a speech, and I would use my aspiring leader perk to like give him, I think it's 7 points of 7 points of temporary HP. And then he would be like, "I'm really sorry about like freaking out a little, but I have never encountered something so vile."
It's okay. It is vile. It is a disgrace, abomination, but we've dealt with it. Now you hold chin high.
He would be like, "Yes, of course." And it would take a second, but he knows that, you know, we came here to do something, and we're gonna do whatever it takes to get it done. And he will make sure that, you know, he'll take care of everybody, even if, you know, he has to like go in harm's way to do it.
And Caden would kind of pull you aside after the speech and look at you, Aravan, and say, "If I don't make it out of this, you gotta take me back to Far Reach. Don't leave me in there."
Don't worry, Caden. We're all leaving out of here.
So Vigor will, having kind of finished the task, it seems, at least he hopes, and then receiving this blessing from his friend, his fellow devout follower of the Pantheon, he will kind of nod his head. He says, "Yes, Juljin requires sacrifice. This abomination that was made is offense. It is offense against life. It is offense against powers of gods." Yes. He kind of sticks his thumb down in a gooey wound of one of the bodies that was, you know, not quite caught yet. and kind of makes a symbol on his own forehead and says, "Okay, now Vigor is ready."
That's hardcore.
Griff dips his finger in the blood and just draws a huge wiener on his face and says, "All right, now I'm ready too."
I think Erwin would be like, if you guys turn into zombies, I'm gonna leave you here. And he will laugh about the dick. That's too much, man.
You're gonna be the zombie with the dick face. All right. So all is quiet in the courtyard of this place. As I said before, the char went from what appears to be a kitchen of sorts, a mess hall, towards the chapel, which is built into the mountainside. The doors there are burst in, and darkness lies beyond the doors. What do you do?
So you would see Caden, decently well prepared for this journey, brought some torches along, and he'd pull out one and hold it out to Erevan for him to light with his holy fire.
He would be like, my pleasure, and he would just like touch it, and you see it like all of a sudden light up a little, and he'd be like, there you go.
Vigor kind of walks over to the threshold, kind of staring in, seeing if his half-orc nature would allow him to see anything beyond without the torchlight, or if he would have to rely on it as well.
Half-orcs have dim light, right?
Now that you have said that, I am questioning it, but I believe that they have dark vision 60 feet, and they should be able to see in darkness as if it was dim light up to 60 feet.
Yes. Okay. That's how it is.
Yeah, Erevan would be right behind Viger because he can see in the dark too.
Okay. Yeah. You guys, as you walk in, the hall itself was fairly massive. You assume that there were pews there at some point, but it has been so long since anybody resided in these halls that those have long rotted away. There's just a coat of dirt and grime and more foul things along the floor. You easily see footsteps going this way and that, but a beaten path from the door going towards the altar itself, which stands at the far end on a large raised platform, couple steps up, raised a little above it, with just stone wall behind it. You don't see anything beyond that from this distance.
This was once sacred place. It has been shit upon. You can keep torch just at my back, yes. I think I can see okay here. Just check that I am on the edge of your light and you can see my back. And he'll kind of start into the room, kind of cautiously and slowly.
Okay. Vigor, as you step into the darkness, I imagine you're scanning side to side from the room, trying to gauge exactly how big this room was. Like I said, it's fairly massive. It has pillars along the sides of it, all massive, like 15 feet diameter pillars going in rows along the sides. You can't see anything beyond that, beyond the shadows. At the altar itself, just for a second, out of the corner of your eye, it seems like you saw a figure, but you're not sure.
I think Aravan would walk up to Caden for a second. He would place his hand on his back and he would be like, I know you're pretty good at tracking stuff. Can you see if you can find anything? And then he would, the hand gesture is him casting guidance on him, which gives him a D4 to whatever skill check.
You're searching through the room to see what you can find. Is that what I heard?
He went up to Caden and he asked him if he could track or, you know, pretty much
okay.
Since he's a ranger and he casted guidance on him to help him out. Yeah.
I got you. Caden?
Yeah, so I guess I would take my torch and start waving it around, kind of moving it slowly around the room, scanning for whatever awful thing of Orcus is in here.
Okay, after probably about a half hour or so, Caden, give me, well, all of you, give me an investigation check. Guidance gives you a +2, right? Caden?
I add a D4 to my roll.
Add a D4. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So a couple of you are just stumbling around in the darkness, not sure what you should be finding here. But Griff and Caden come along to the very back of the room, and there they see that behind the altar, it has been pushed forward from its original spot with stairs going down into even further darkness. It looks like the stairs would spiral down. Very narrow, one person at a time going down these things, and even then would be very tight. You'd almost be crawling down these things.
And Caden would immediately look at Griff and take a step back and kind of point down the hole.
Griff kind of laughs. He's like, all right, I'm on it. And he's going to try to stealth and kind of look down the stairs. He doesn't have any dark vision or anything, but he's going to try to look down it anyway. But mostly stealth.
Dumb question. Can I, like, grab his dagger and cast light on it?
Please do.
Yeah, it's not dumb. So you got a glowy dagger now.
Yeah, there you go. You'd be like, good luck.
All right. So he's going to try to, I guess, toss the dagger down a few cycles down this stair. If he can get it down there, kind of bounce it around the side or something. Because he doesn't want the dagger in his hand, but he wants to be able to see what's down there because he's trying to be stealthy.
Okay, yeah, you hear it clang down the stairs. You can't really see because, I mean, just the way these are built, it's literally just the walls on the side of the stairs winding very tightly down.
All right, he's going to try to stealthily start making his way down, at least to where the dagger was.
Okay, it doesn't take you guys long to get down the stairs. It winds around 3 or 4 times and puts you out on almost like a half a room of finished stone of masonry walls and placed stone floors. But beyond the edge of the half room is a cavern that opens up, uncut stone from the mountain itself. And you see a cavern or a chasm shortly ahead of you with a bridge, a stone bridge going very far across the chasm here. How do you wish to proceed?
This stone bridge, do we notice about how wide it is? Are there sides or rails of some kind to it?
Yeah, it's a mason bridge. It's brick, basically. But two of y'all could walk abreast across this thing fairly comfortably. Along the sides of it is kind of like buttresses that it dips and then comes up and then dips and then comes up. Yeah, kind of like that. But no light that you can see. You can get a glimpse of the other side, but not really what's over there. The wind from the chasm itself is rushing up. Something is down there that is moving fast. You would assume an underground river of sorts, very far down.
Yeah, Vigor's going to go kind of walk over to where the bridge is, and I almost picture maybe like one of the bricks has come loose, one of the superficial bricks, kind of on the side here, and he kind of picks it up. It's almost like a broken half brick, and he kind of just tosses it over the edge, and then kind of listens, kind of counting the seconds.
And you never hear a report back from it. Do you look backwards towards the party at all, towards the room, the half room?
Yeah, sure. He'll kind of turn around, kind of as he's letting out this low whistle, kind of knowingly shaking his head at them.
You will notice right at the entrance of this cavern part are two angelic statues with shield and spear in one hand at the ready, and both statues holding a hand out as if to keep something at bay. Both directly at the bridge itself. These things are giant.
Instead of saying anything, his eyes just kind of widen and his face kind of pans upwards and his mouth kind of his chin just kind of stays where it was. So it's just kind of this increase in the gaping of his mouth as he takes these in.
Do we notice that too, or no?
I would imagine that you would see Vigor standing there amazed at something, and the three of you would turn your eyes to see exactly what he was looking at, and there you stand beside it. Caden, you're a fairly well-built human, and you barely come up to the knee of one of these statues.
Is there any worse on the statues, or not really?
No, they are in full armor and look to be ready for battle. But yeah, shield is behind, or they are holding a spear behind a large, almost kite shield. That's not the right word for it. Almost a tower shield that's rounded, coming to a point at the bottom.
Good. So no symbols or anything?
No, not on the statues themselves. Just holding their hand out.
They're guardians. They stand watch against great evil, I think. They protect, well, they did protect this place, I think. Yes, they are warriors. They say stop. You halt, evil. And he turns around and faces the bridge. He says, yes, halt, evil. You will halt this day. And he's going to start walking towards the bridge.
Excellent. Does the rest of the party follow?
Definitely. I would be right behind him since I can also see without light being near.
Griff goes right beside him and walks along with him.
Okay. Can you describe how exactly you're crossing this bridge? Like, are you focused on getting across? Are you very careful about your steps?
Unless somebody says something to him, no. Vigor is a lot of things, but he is not a smart man. He is going to start down the middle of the bridge.
All right. Griff, you are walking beside Vigor, and he does not hear it, and he doesn't seem to feel it. But you perceive that one of the stones that he just stepped on sank a little bit, and you heard something above you. I need dexterity saves from every single one of you.
So I had a question. Do I hear this too, or is just Griff that hears it?
Hold on. Sorry, I was looking at his passive perception. I didn't see. Yes, absolutely, you heard it.
Gotcha. I would want to grab whoever's closest to me and just push him out of the way.
And then he died. Wow. That was heroic.
I don't.
Damn, that was really weird. All right. You heard what it said?
Yeah, we heard you.
Yeah, I accidentally, I got all this little, things that I can click on top, and I went to mute the mic and accidentally click on one of the links.
Now, what you all hear is Griff go, shit. And everybody, hold on. Evan, I have not got a roll from you. Oh, natural one. Oh God. Okay. Vigor, you hear him go, oh shit, and just combat instincts make you dive. You succeed in that, but the rest of you fail to notice large, wide blades swing down across the entirety of the bridge, coming in between where the stone is set. As it goes down, they swing in like almost. I'm at a loss for words right now on how I can describe this. Like pendulum swinging in opposite directions. One is swinging this way, one is swinging this way, all the way across the bridge. All of you are hit except for Vigor. All of you will take 12 points of damage, with the exception of Evan. You will take the full 16. These blades dig straight into you. Griff, you feel it hit, being so short, directly onto your head, onto the top of your head there. You have a nasty gash going across your head now as you're knocked to the ground from this thing.
Oh, fuck.
Everin and Caden, both of these dig straight into your shoulders and slice right through as if you were just butter, knocking you both down to the ground. So yeah, Everin and Griff, 12 points of damage. Caden, 16.
Vigor kind of rolls over onto his back from where he had kind of thrown himself down face forward, and kind of picks himself halfway up and realizes kind of what's going on. And he's going to rush forward and try to grab whoever the two closest are, just one arm on each one of them, just whatever he can grab, wrist or, the neck of their armor or whatever, and just start trying to haul them back as fast as he can.
Okay. As you're trying to crawl, you notice that the blades all swing twice more across the cavern, across the bridge, and they all catch, and a loud mechanical sound is above you, like a big crank turning. It's like a bam, and no more further movement.
I see anything that we might have stepped on that might have triggered these things?
Without an investigation check, no.
Griff saw
Did I do
the
that?
stone, right? That he stepped on.
Yeah, at the time, you did see a stone that he stepped on slightly sink, and the sound triggering the trap. But you're not sure exactly which stone it was.
Vigor says, I think this place might be trapped. We should be careful.
Is there any chance that I can do like an investigation check to see if there's like a button or something up there that we can trigger to stop it?
The trap itself has stopped swinging. You can give me an investigation check to see if you can find the stone that he stepped on. But lying prone on the bridge bleeding wouldn't really do you any good to try to find any kind of mechanism on either side of the bridge.
Well, I got a 20. So.
Okay, yeah, you pretty easily find the indented stone right in the middle of the bridge. Actually looks a little wider than the rest of the stones surrounding it. You think maybe going forward, you could notice other stones that look similar and maybe not repeat the process.
I gotcha. Yeah, he would turn around and he would be like, I think I know what path to take so we don't do this again. And he would just, being scared of what happened, he would just crawl. Have them follow him.
Vigor is going to kind of try to look a little bit at some of the wounds that his companions might have taken from these blades, and see if he can't just at least knit them closed a little with his lay on hands magic. I have 20 points of it, up to 20 points of it to go around. But if anybody could let me know what they kind of need, I could divvy it out a little. Okay, everybody's down 9. Oh no, okay. There we go. 14.
I think I took 12, but I wouldn't worry too much about like killing me fully.
Okay.
Well, I mean, how much of those hit points did you still have from the spells that you cast above?
Oh crap, I forgot about all that. Well, it was only 7 temp HP, so it was whatever you have plus 7.
Okay, so you were down 5 hit points.
Gotcha.
And Caden, you took the brunt of it. How much are you actually down?
9. was 1697.
Oh, yeah. I see now. I'm sorry. I missed that in the chat.
Okay, cool. So, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll use all 19 or almost all the 20 points that I've got. 19 points of healing. I'll spread it around. And I think that should be everybody. It was 5, 5, and 9.
Yes.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I'll kind of go to each one of them, kind of as I'm checking the wound, just kind of move my hands in some of the patterns that I've been taught as I kind of massage the tissue a little bit and give it a little bit of knitting. Yes, we need to be feeling well as we go on. You should feel better now. You'll kind of help each one of them back up to their feet.
Yeah, Irvin would like thank you, and then he would be like, not bad, especially for somebody who doesn't really have healing skills like that.
Sometimes I pay attention. There are the ones who read the books the most. I know some things that are useful to have out here.
All right.
Caden would get up and follow Aravan down the bridge.
Yeah, Aravan easily spots a few more of these stones. This would have been a very nasty trip across this. And whoever designed this, obviously didn't want anybody crossing either way without knowing precisely where to step. But you make it across and find yourselves directly in front of a passageway of stairs leading further down into the darkness. These are straight down, a little more than I would say 12 feet from side to side. Very well laid. These look, amazingly enough, fairly well traveled for the age of it. You see almost no dust gathered at the top of the stairs or as far down as you could see.
You think that maybe I find other heavy brick down there? Perhaps I should go find it.
I think that's just saying that, like, everyone would tap him in the back real quick. He would be like, you got this, and he would cast guidance on him.
Okay. And
Yes, that feels wonderful.
as we start to descend down the stairs, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. And so, everybody get up, use the restroom, do what you got to do, and we'll be back in 5. All right.
Back out of space.
I am a big old ball of nerves through all of this.
Dude, you are knocking it out of the park. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you're doing a super good job.
Yeah, man, this is great. The funny thing is, you thought I would have expected like a trap in the bridge, but actually I didn't even think of it.
You said
Especially the
wind,
plane.
and then I just went straight to I'm gonna be blown off this bridge. I didn't even think about traps.
I, as a player, did. But I was like, this is not the kind of character that's going to even pay them any attention.
See, I was thinking the bridge was gonna fall, but I didn't think we were gonna get sliced by blades. That was just brilliant.
Yeah, I pondered on what to do with that for a little while today. I've spent the better part of the day since I woke up, not really putting anything to paper, but just having this whole thing in my head, like mulling over what I wanted to do. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, man, I'm enjoying the hell of it. I love this game that you're running, and I love this group of characters together, and I love playing this character. I'm having an absolute blast.
Yeah, we got to play these characters again.
Right on.
By the
I'll
way,
be
I
happy.
love the whole zombie things with the heads and the pikes and stuff. Like, it took me a second. That's why, like, I felt bad when I mentioned the whole head thing, because it's like they were getting hit and nothing was happening. I was like, we probably got to kill the brains. But I loved it. It was really great, especially with the whole crazy troll orc thing.
I was trying to think of a way, without giving it away, of how to describe that that would make any kind of sense. I'm glad you guys picked up on it.
I think you nailed it.
It was fun.
Very flavorful.
Anything, you should have left us to flounder for another turn or two.
No, that was, yeah, it was good. I love that. I love fights that are like that have some kind of element to them that aren't just straight combat. Like it's got a something. You kind of have to figure it out a little bit as a player. You kind of have to sort through it. I really love that stuff.
I've been trying to come up with different ways of handling exactly that, because you're right. I didn't want to just like, all right, well, here's a combat. You roll your dice, I'll roll my dice, and we'll go through it, and that'll be that. That's fun and all, but it gets a little stale after a while, you know. No, Jose, you're not being too much at all, man. You are doing great. We're just waiting on Tyler, right?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Cool. Then we will pick it back up if you guys are all ready. Cool. Let's do this. All right. Coming down the steps. Let me get my handy dandy notes here. I'm ready and we rock. Okay. As the party descends the stairs, you reach the bottom. Jose, I know that you would recognize this immediately. The tunnel goes directly in front of you, down a ways, and immediately to your right. Jose, you recognize this immediately as a catacomb, a burial place for somebody that used to be here. And from the looks of it, there were a lot of them throughout the years. As far as you can see is indentions into the stone, and some have decrepit skeletons still in ceremonial armor, and others just have rusted bits of metal. As I said, the tunnel goes directly in front of you, probably about 30 or so feet, and you will see it curve off to the right. Immediately to your right, it goes off, and a little ways forward comes off to the left. How'd you guys like to proceed?
Caden would try and wave his flaming torch, his like sacred flame torch, off to the passage on the right and see if he can look down it at all.
Yeah, what you see is probably about 60 or so feet. It goes straight, and there is a cutoff to the left, again, about halfway down from there.
Urban would like look at everybody who would be like, whatever you guys do, be careful. Looks like we're in like a ceremonial burial ground, and whoever came at us before might try to, puppet this undead that are here. So just be careful.
So the cathedral had these guardians to protect them from their own deceased. Why would they continue to keep these bodies so close? Why not find a new place or burn them instead of continuing to fill this place?
It's tradition. The powerful get in their families get buried within the same place. So does their faithful guard. It's a show of respect, but some people try to take advantage of this.
This is why I don't understand humans. This makes no sense to me. We would just stack bodies in large fire pyre, just burn them all, or send them down the river.
As Vigor is questioning, he's looking at one of these bodies as he's talking to you, and one of the skeletons has a breastplate on, holding a sword at rest. Just underneath the hilt and the blade, you can see etchings across the breastplate, Vigor.
What is this? He kind of stalks forward just a little bit, kind of reaching towards whatever this is to try to move anything that may be blocking his vision out of the way gently, rather, and try to see if he can make it out better.
And what you see is an intricate etching across this ancient breastplate of what appears to be a griffin's head with lightning streaking out from the eye itself. Any character with the skill of religion, you could give me a check at. This is pretty ancient, so 18 DC.
What language is it written on it?
No, it's no language at all. There's no words on it. It's just a symbol.
My religion came up to 18.
Okay. You dig through your memory, and you remember going through the writings of Brother Thomas back in Farreach. He had brought with him a lot of manuscripts from wherever it was that he had come from, and was trying to gain a repository of knowledge in the town. You remember something of Stormlords. That's all that you can recall or pull out of your brain is these were the Stormlords.
So he would turn around and he would tell Vigor, since he found it, he would be like, I heard of this before. It's a Stormlord's armor. Now what it does, I have no idea.
This armor here, This armor belonged to someone in a story you knew?
Somebody ancient and powerful. And then he would, which would be really weird, him being a cleric, but he would be like, I don't think he needs it anymore, so.
Does it look like it'd fit?
I mean, yeah, it would probably fit you, but the age and the decrepit nature of it, I'm not sure it would add much protection for you. I mean, you're certainly willing to grave rob if you want to bring back an artifact and maybe add some kind of knowledge. But as a functional piece of armor, I don't think you're going to have much success with it.
Okay, so like, Erevan wouldn't mess with it because he doesn't really believe in that. But he just told him to let him know because he heard stories about it, so he figured maybe there was something special with the armor. So.
Hey, Griff, give me a perception check.
All right, on it. $18.
As they're inspecting this ancient symbol and talking amongst themselves on what's going on, you hear something from the outcropping to the left, like a shuffling, like something got kicked along the floor.
We're not alone here. That's what he says, and he pulls his whip out.
Vigor's kind of in the middle of asking, how long ago did he die? Whenever Griff says something, and he kind of turns around. What did you say?
Shut up and listen. You hear that? Something's moving down that left tunnel. Kind of points off towards it.
Erevan would tell Griff, hey, hand me one of your daggers.
He hands him one of the daggers.
He would grab it and cast light on it, and he would throw it down the hallway to see if he can distract this thing.
Griff's just like, what the fuck?
Okay, so Everin throws this dagger down, and he throws it with surprising strength, and it goes sailing down the hallway and clangs against the far wall. Pretty good throw for Everin there. And you wait. You see the light shining at the end of the hallway. Then you all start to hear it, just a shuffle through the darkness. And then a low moan as a silhouetted body comes towards the hallway and turns his back to you and shuffles towards the light. Now, given your experiences so far, it's not hard to see that this guy is dead. But he doesn't appear to be in any ragged shape. You can't really tell much because he's silhouetted, but he seems whole.
Vigor kind of tenses up on his axe again, kind of takes two kind of steps towards that direction. Do we know what this is? What we're dealing with here?
The second one comes around the corner, following the first, and a third.
This place is teeming with walking corpses. We going in?
He would put his hand on his back, and he would be like, if anybody's trying to go in, I would imagine if it's you with the big axe, and he would cast guidance on them. And he would be like, I'm ready as you guys are. I mean, if we don't kill him now, we're going to have to kill him later. So.
The third one hears seems to hear, notices the conversation going on. And as he turns around, you kind of get a glimpse of the light gleaming. This was a human. He's shirtless, and his throat is very cut, and he is obviously dead. And his eyes are glowing that same baleful green light that the heads were on the surface above. He takes notice and lets out a gurgle as the air doesn't escape his mouth, but rather the throat itself, as blood just bubbles and steps towards you. Everybody roll initiative. All right. Man, Evan, you like rolling 10.
I think my dice is weighted to 7.
All right. So we're going to start this off with Tyler this time. Who has the higher dex? Evan, you or Jeremy? What's your dexes?
Probably me. I have +3.
Mine is a 16.
Okay. Evan, what was yours? I'm sorry?
16.
16 also?
Mhm.
Oh,
He can just go first.
Okay.
It doesn't matter
All right.
to me, honestly.
Okay, so it'll be Tyler, Jeremy, Evan. Tyler, me, Jeremy, Evan, Jose. Okay, Tyler, you're up to bat, sir.
All right. Is this? Go ahead.
The zombies are, all three of them are coming your way.
Is there anything I can duck behind and try to hide?
Oh yeah, there's the tunnel immediately to your right. It goes off to the right, and it seems to be absolutely clear.
All right. He's going to duck about 5 feet in there and hug the wall, and I'm going to attempt to hide.
Okay.
All right. You want me to roll a stealth check for that?
No, there's no need. You're behind the corner. They've lost sight of you. I'm just going to say whatever stealth you attempt to do from these guys are going to be successful in that.
All righty. How far would you say they are from me?
The one in the lead, it seems to be about 15 or so feet from the group. You guys are standing at the bottom of the stairs at the corner. You have ducked to the right for that tunnel, and the zombies have come from the tunnel to the left about 15 feet up.
All right. I'm going to poke my head around the corner and throw a dagger.
Okay. Make me an attack roll.
That's a 15.
Oh, yeah, that hits.
All righty. So, D4 plus 7 plus a D6. It's 11 points of damage with sneak attack.
Okay. Yeah, that one falls. Your dagger finds its way into the skull of this zombie, and he falls and stops moving. The other two are coming up the hallway, and as they pass the hallway that they came out of, more are coming. At least 3 more have now come around the corner. You hear the moans and the shuffling of these zombies as they come out. One of them, yes. One of them is not like the rest of them. It seems to be a much older corpse, and you can't really see much in the light, but as it comes closer, this is a similar sight to what you're seeing come at you. This thing died a horrible death in battle. Weapons still sticking out of it. The undead glow coming out of its eyes as it approaches. Who would be up front? Vigor, you would be up front? Okay. It would make its way to you at its closest. It has a spear in hand, and it's going to tap. What is that? That's 9. Yeah, that's not going to hit. Okay. Yeah. It thrusts its spear. You can tell that in life he knew what he was doing with this weapon. If there was any kind of memory at all for this thing, it's still ringing true, even if it's unconscious. But you being much quicker than this thing, dodge completely out of the way of the spear. One of the fresher zombies reaches Jose and rolls a nat 20 to rake a claw across your chest as it's trying to grab in for a bite. You're going to take 6 plus. Okay, 8 points of damage. The others haven't reached you yet, but there are more pouring out from this corner. You can't really tell the number now, but they're gaining. And we will move on to Jeremy.
On either side of this hallway entrance, are there anything like, little tiny columns, like holding up like a doorway buttress or anything like that decorative that looks like it could come free?
Not without some really heavy hits. It's the stairs coming down, and the masonry at the end of it is really well made.
And it's kind of built into the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, Vigor is just going to brandish his great axe at this one that thrust the spear towards him, and he's going to see what he can do. I don't know if that's going to work. 4 plus 7, 11 total. Oh, wait. Is guidance, you can't apply that to an attack, can you?
Yes, you can.
You can. Is it D4?
Yes.
Sweet. I'm going to do that now. An additional 3 points.
That will hit.
Nice. Thank you, Jose. Okay. So I think he kind of goes to swing, and it's going to hit where a mortal man would take a wound. But this thing's missing so much of its body that the strike is just going to miss. It's effectively just going to go straight through him. But at the last moment, there's some kind of like radiant colored light associated with the deity of Jose's character. And it almost forms musculature and organs beneath the bones of this creature. And the axe plants itself into that, and then there's like a burst of radiant energy out away from there, that kind of almost like a small explosion within this thing's body. That's 10 plus. Oh, sweet. Yeah, and as it kind of the radiant light kind of actually just shatters this thing and sends like its bones and its chunks just kind of scattering across the floor.
Absolutely. Yeah, the bones fly apart, like you say, and the armor itself just clangs down with the force of your axe blow. The thing's helm is on the floor with the skull still with that death stare right at you. Unfortunately, there's more coming around the corner. You see at this point 8 of these things in the hallway, thanks to the light behind them. They're silhouetted with just green eyes staring at you, coming at you. And Caden.
Is there space for me to like get in there and make some attacks? Or is it like too small of a corridor?
You can push your way past Jose. He was kind of standing there with Vigor as he threw the dagger down. I'm not sure if he backed away. No, he's got the zombie on him.
Okay, well then I guess I would just kind of stay behind him and push my torch out like over his shoulder and try and like burn this zombie's face off with this sacred flame torch.
Okay.
What should I roll for that guy?
Yeah, we'll just do a melee attack, and we'll D6 plus fire damage, so D4 fire damage.
Sounds good to me. So he takes should I add my dex to that or no?
What, your attack roll? That would be
the damage.
Oh, the damage.
22 was to hit.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, it was 22 to hit, and then
22, yes, absolutely hits.
And then we'll say 6 points of damage from the torch.
Okay. Oh, you got a nat 20 then. Okay. And then roll me a D4 for the fire damage.
Oh, that I rolled that. It was sorry.
Altogether is 6. Okay.
It was 1 point of fire damage. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. Yeah. The zombie itself. The fire itself will 6 damage. You said. Okay. It will set the zombie's head ablaze. The hair and whatnot, it catches fire, and the thing yells and falls. These things don't appear to be all that tough. Good solid whack will get most of these things down, it appears. So that zombie's on the ground now, hair on fire. Jose, you're free from its claws. And that would be. Are you gonna try to move at all? Is that your turn?
Oh yeah, sorry, that's my turn. I got nothing left.
Okay, Jose.
So the zombie, skeleton guy that was grabbing me, he's dead now, right? Okay, so there's the other 2, right? Or it's only 1?
No, there's like 8 more coming at you.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I guess I would get as close as I can to cast Sacred Flame on the nearest zombie thing. And
Okay.
that's a dex save of 14.
Yeah, that's a nimble zombie. Rolled a 20 on that one.
Yeah, I can see like he was trying to cast it, but he was right next to Viger, and there's not enough room, so he kind of like lost concentration when he like hit the side of the hallway. He was like crap.
Awesome. While you're taking your turn, another one of the armored ones have made its way around. You're fairly certain that that's the last of them. They stopped coming out in droves like they were. So there seems to be 8 more of these zombies and 1 more of the armored skeleton warriors in front of you. We will bring ourselves back up to Griff at this point.
All right, so there's like a cluster of them kind of further down the hallway, and then there's some that are close to us, right?
Yeah, they're starting to like clump together now. With the fight going on in front of Everin and Vigor. They've all kind of massed together now. They're much closer together than they were.
All right, I am going to pull out one of my flasks of oil and throw it and try to get a bunch of oil on the ground in front of them, between us and the cluster of them.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's just a quick dex check.
All right,
I won't even call that an attack.
natural 20.
All right, yeah, you chuck the flask of oil pretty expertly, and as it breaks, not only does it just hit right there and shatter, you managed to like spin the bottle in such a way that when it broke, it kind of slung oil a little further than it might have.
All right, I don't have any means of making fire, but Jose's been throwing Sacred Flame around like it's crazy, so that should be helpful. And then I guess I'll use my bonus action to throw a dagger at how many of the armored ones are left?
1. He's in
All right.
the back trying to push his way through.
All right, which of them are actually in melee range with my allies here?
There's at least 3 that's kind of bunched together in the hallway, like reaching out.
All right, I will throw a dagger at the one that's attacking Vigor. Or did he kill that one? The one with the spear.
Yeah, he killed that guy.
All right, the one that's attacking Jose then.
He's also dead. There's just 3 more besides those 2. Those 2 are dead and on the ground, and 3 more are starting to reach out.
All right, but one of them's in melee range with one of my allies.
Yes.
All right, I'll
so you
throw
want to
at
hit the one closest to Igor?
Yes, closest to Vigor.
Okay, excellent.
If they're in melee, I can get my sneak attack, right?
Are you in melee?
It's if they,
if they're in melee. Yeah. Okay, I got you now. Yes, I would say
all right.
yes.
That's cocked.
Sorry, a rules lawyer I am not.
That's 13.
That is actually a hit.
Yes. That's 12 damage.
Oh yeah, he's very dead. You're just getting all kinds of target practice with your blade throwing. This blade sinks right into the eyeball and he slumps forward. Very dead.
All right, I duck back into my little corner.
Okay. Another one, unfortunately, takes its place in the hallway in the bunch. 3 of them reach out. Vigor, they're all on you, sir. 2 miss dramatically. But one lunges out and sinks his teeth right into your ear, like just grabs you, and the force of being pushed forward is a little much, that more than you anticipated. He's right on the side of your head and locks down on the side of your face. That is going to be 5 damage. And the other 2 miss with their attacks. So we're going to begin with Vigor then.
Vigor has just had this creature kind of bite down on his ear, kind of torquing his helmet all out of positions, so that the opening is kind of over on its side now, where he's able to find purchase. Vigor just kind of throws his helmet down and kind of glares at the one that just bit him, showing prominently the symbol that he had drawn upon his forehead upstairs. Look into my eyes. You all will perish, whether under my axe or under theirs. Today, you will rue the fact you have come back. I would like to use my paladin ability to channel divinity. An enemy. It'll take my action. One creature within 60 feet of me has to make a wisdom saving throw, or it becomes frightened of me for 1 minute, or until it takes damage. Its speed becomes 0, or on a success, its speed is halved for 1 minute or until it takes damage. A fiend or undead has disadvantage.
It has disadvantage, okay.
The DC is a 13.
Oh, yeah. He fails. He absolutely fails. He rolled a 12 on that one. Are you doing it to the one that just bit you, or?
Yes, absolutely. I figured he's probably leaning out the farthest as of now.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully whenever he turns around and starts trying to move the other direction, it'll cause a little bit of a clusterfuck here.
Yeah, the holiness of your words almost physically push this thing back off of you, and it falls into the crowd, pushing them back a little bit. They're not pushing forward as hard as they were, as this thing is trying to scramble as quickly as it can. It's actually kind of surprising how quick this thing can move. And it's on the ground, rolling in the liquid that was just tossed onto the ground. With that, we will go to Jose. No, not Jose. Caden.
So, seeing this like flask of oil explode on the ground, and I have this fancy torch, I would just kind of try and gently toss the torch into the oil and set all these guys aflame.
Excellent. Yeah, just roll me a dex attack.
That is a 25.
Oh, yeah, so you just kind of hook shot that thing over yourselves, and it rolls around, and almost in slow-mo, you all watch as the torch whoosh, 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 and lands right at the feet of this crowd into the oil, which ignites, not in a great blast of fire, but just a nice steady flame starts to ignite through this thing. And pretty soon the entire pool, as well as the scared zombie, is now fully engulfed. And as he is writhing around, he is catching more and more of them on fire. Almost all of them burn to a freaking crisp, except for the armor one, who has stopped moving almost consciously, as he waits and taunts. Then a voice comes out from the creature in a raspy whisper. The portal and launches itself with its long sword. Where's my D20? Right at Vigor. Oh, Vigor, that is a nat 20, sir. This blade is very keen, coming down. There it is. I can keep it on. Ooh. Okay, sir. Oh no, wrong guy. That's going to be 13 points of damage. As this thing slices into you, you feel this. You feel the life being yanked out of you violently, as if it's being drunk in by this sword and by the creature itself. When contact is made, you can see the light flare up in this thing's eyes as it laughs again and says, "Yes." So 13 points of damage to you, sir. Jose, we are at you.
Gotcha. So he will see this bow creature hissing and attacking his friend, and he would raise his shield, and he would be like, "You're not gonna take him if I can't help it." And he would invoke his goddess Wrath, and he would channel divinity to use preserved light to heal Vigor for 20 points of health.
Whew. All right. So, I mean, Vigor, you immediately feel reinvigorated, as if the Dawnflower herself just breathed life back into you. You feel, yes, invigorated. Sorry, that required to be said. All right. All right. Is there anything else you're going to do, Jose?
He will walk up to Vigor, and he would put his hand on his shoulder, and he would be like, "None of us is going down. If we go down, we'll all go down together."
All right, Griff. We will begin with you again.
So there's just the one guy left now?
Just the one guy. The one armored skeleton. He looks a little different than the last guys did. He's speaking, and that's something different. The sword in his hand, Vigor would recognize militarily as this had to have been somebody of great importance. He's coming at you. I forgot this. I'm sorry. In the heat of everything. This is what is staring at you in the hallway.
Wonderful.
And his blade shows no age. It is keen. And as Vigor can tell you, it is sharp.
All right. Griff's going to come out from his little hidey hole, and he's going to try to get to the side opposite of Vigor from the armored skeleton, but 5 feet back. And he's going to go lash out with his whip and try to get it around his neck and try to pull him down.
Okay.
14 to hit on that one.
It's a miss.
All right. And so he's going to throw a dagger.
Okay.
Oh, that's much better. 20.
That will hit.
All right. So that's... 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage. Okay. Yeah, the blade finds its way in. You see the skeleton kind of buckle with it, with the impact of it, but keeps on coming. Vigor, we are up to you, sir.
The voice that we hear this creature speaking with, is it the same one that we heard when we were elsewhere?
Very similar.
He's going to kind of round on this individual, and he grits his teeth together, kind of his tusks pressing into his upper lip. You were once a man of great honor, of position. What has been done to you is wrong. It should not be this way. I will end this for you. You must be put down once more. To rest. He's going to cast Hunter's Mark upon him as a bonus action with his oath spell. Then he's going to step forward and try to on his promise. Okay, 14. I think the plus is a 7. Yes, 21 total.
To hit?
Yes.
Excellent. That is a definite hit.
Fantastic. Okay, and he will be throwing one of his Divine Smite spells, his last first level spell for the day, on top of this as well.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got 7 damage on the die. Plus 5. That's 12, plus the D6 Hunter's Mark. That's 6. That's 18, plus the 2d8, plus the 1d8. 4 and 7. That's 11 additional radiant damage.
Ooh. So altogether.
Oh shit. Okay, so it was 11 radiant damage, I think. It was 6 from the Hunter's Mark, that's 17, and then it was 7 plus 5, 29 again.
Excellent. As you smite, as the holiness extends out from your body and into your target, you're struck by a vision. You see this man, except he was whole, fighting off what appears to be his own men in hallways similar to this. And he's fighting for his life, but you feel a darkness within him, and then the vision ends. He's taken back and steps back and snarls. I am Lord Keegan, and I will repay. And steps forward again. It is Evan's turn at this point.
So Caden would try and push through and try and get around to the other side of this guy so that we could surround him. And then just with hunting axe, the wood chopping axe, just go straight for like the middle of his chest plate as I swing.
Excellent.
Cock. And I'm assuming a natural 2 and a 5 do not hit. So
No.
I just swing and hit him straight in the chest, but it just doesn't go through.
No, he easily turns it to the side. This skeleton moves with an eerie quickness. He just turns your axe to the side, and with that, makes an attack of his own against you. Does a 12 hit?
No.
Okay. So he swings his sword in an arc downwards and misses you, and we'll go to Jose.
Alrighty, so it's just the skeleton guy, or
Yes.
there's more of them? Okay.
No, he's the final one.
Since I was right behind Biter, I would just like poke to the side and try to cast a Sacred Flame on it. He would be like, he's trying to keep away because he knows how dangerous it is, especially after being attacked by one of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Sacred Flame. That's a dex save on this part. That's a 17. Okay.
Oh yeah, he definitely passes. I must have like lost concentration with all the craziness going around and hearing all this darkness going on.
Yeah, it just fizzles out as the darkness is emanating off of him. He steps forward again, and we will go to Griff.
All right, Griff he's still 10 feet from him. So he's going to lash out with his whip again. Ooh, that's a natural 20.
Ooh.
All right, so he's going to attempt to trip him. So that's 6 damage plus the sneak attack. That's 10 damage total, and it's a DC 15 strength save, or he's prone.
Okay, DC 15. Strength or dex?
Strength.
Okay, strength. He actually gets that.
All right. And then bonus action, throw another dagger.
Okay.
19
Hits.
for 5 damage. 6 damage.
Okay. He rasps and yells that it's too late. That you cannot stop. You cannot stop it. It is already opening in the chapel. The dark one will arrive. And with that, we go to Mr. Vigor.
Vigor, having kind of been caught off guard by this kind of flash of a vision, kind of stumbles back for a moment and kind of realizes that Zul'jin has kind of sent him an image. Yes, I hear you, Lord. I know what I must do. I am on the right track. And he kind of steps forward. I apologize. You were treated so wrongly, Lord Keegan. We will right this wrong in this moment now. And he will swing his great axe again. 12 and 7, 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Yes, okay. So the 100 mark
rolling great.
is still active because I haven't been touched yet. Okay. So that is 12 plus 5. 17 points of slashing damage.
All right. All right. Yeah, as you make contact and you see part of his armor just peel away with the slash of your axe, just caves in. At that wound, the green light from his eyes starts emanating from that too. You also see emblazoned a much more regal background is the same etching as the breastplate you were looking at before, with the griffin's head with the lightning. This was, by all that you can tell, one of the leaders, if not the leader, of the Stormlords. And with that, we will go to Evan and Caden. It's your turn.
Oh, just trying again. Just gonna keep hacking at this guy. That's a natural 1 and a 21.
Ooh.
These metal dice keep rolling 1s. But I do 11 points of damage to him as I, maybe with my first attack, weaken the breastplate, and the second one kind of gets through. Maybe up into his armpit where his armor doesn't protect.
So the nat 20.
Oh, it wasn't a nat 20. It was just a.
Oh, okay.
Add.
Okay, cool. So yeah. He does 11 damage with that one attack.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On the other attack, the second one gets battered away. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Gets battered away, and a quick riposte as his blade sinks into you for 7 points of damage plus 1 point of necrotic. It's the same feeling that.
What did he roll on the attack?
Oh, this is your 1.
Oh, okay, got it. Perfect.
This is just him as a counterattack to your 1, just inflicting a little stab at you. So 8 points of damage total. But just like Vigor, you feel like as the blade enters, this wrongness invades your body, a darkness that is sucking out everything that would be you. And you feel horrible. I mean, the physical pain is nothing, but this horrible wrongness invading your body terrifies you. With that, he's going to make an actual attack against Vigor. That's 14. That's not going to hit at all. Okay. Now we're at Jose.
Yeah, it's just a skeleton guy, and he's just standing there, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, fighting fairly valiantly, but yeah.
Okay.
The oil is still aflame. You guys are all fighting this within, surrounded by burning bodies.
Well, as much as I want to run in there and do something stupid, he's just gonna raise his shield and try to, cast his sacred flame on him again because he doesn't want to get in there and get killed. So.
Okay. We will go back up to Griff.
All right, he's going to try the whip again.
Okay.
That's an 8. That's not going to hit. And throw another dagger.
Okay.
That's a 17.
You did attack with your flame, Jose?
Yeah, I said I didn't want to run in there because at first I was thinking about being stupid and rushing him, but I just used my flame.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that part completely, sir.
Oh, good.
Okay, so that's a dex save on his part, which is a 2, that fails.
All right, let's see. Oof. All right, he takes 11.
Okay, 11 points of damage. That brings him down. He kind of kneels with his sword to the ground, hissing in pain. Really, I apologize for that, man. I don't know how I missed that.
It's good. I was talking fast. So.
And Griff, you said you were throwing a dagger?
Yeah, I rolled a 17 to hit.
That just misses.
Okay. And that's it. He's going to kind of try to stay opposite of Vigor to him.
Okay. Vigor.
So the Sacred Flame did not take him down.
No, it kind of blasted him into the wall, and he's like leaning on his sword trying to stand up.
Excellent. So Vigor is going to kind of step forward and almost to the side of him and take advantage of him kind of leaning over, and he's going to try to bring his axe down more or less kind of at the base of his skull.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's a 19. 26 total.
Oh, yeah, absolutely a hit.
Yes. Okay. And the Hunter's Mark. Yes. Okay, that's 10 and 15 points of slashing.
15 points of slashing. That will, you said right at the base of the skull?
Yeah, that's where I was aiming.
That will collapse him altogether. And as your blade connects again, another vision creeps into your head where it shows him fighting again, wounded, and one of his soldiers drives the blade he holds in his hand, through his chest, and he slumps down. The vision cuts out and cuts back in where they've sealed the burial chamber up, and that fades to black again, and again comes forward with, where are you at? This guy walking through and having servants rip down the wall behind the burial chamber into a large chapel area. Behind the altar of the chapel in this vision is a giant archway, and all you hear is a and the vision fades. What was remaining of Lord Keegan is now destroyed and laid back to rest. His armor on the ground, lying on top of, again, this very fine-looking sword. How would you all like to proceed from here?
Aiden would look to the rest of you guys and take a breath and say, "Let's never do this again."
I do not think it is over with. And when I was fighting this man, this thing of a man, I was struck with visions. Zul'jin, my god, has seen fit to give me insight into the way this man died. It was not good. He was betrayed by his own men. Then some dark witch doctor of some kind. He is behind this. He laughed at me in my mind. I think he may still be around somewhere. We must deal with this man.
You said it was already happening in the chapel.
That part was not part of the vision. I messed that up then. Sorry.
Didn't he whisper that at us?
Yeah, he did. He in combat, he had said it's already begun.
Yeah, Erevan
Okay,
would
yes.
look at Viger and he would be like, well, hopefully their souls is at rest now. And if these people are still alive, they will face justice. And then he would take one of his little like incense candles and lay it down, light it up, and do like a little quick prayer, hoping that their souls, uh, rest in peace. And then he would just go back to his party and get ready for whatever else is ahead of us.
Excellent. So yeah, you've all kind of bandaged up and gathered yourselves together. Now the chapel. This wasn't what you saw in the vision. Was not the church that was upstairs. This was something much older and darker. And on looking at the ark in the stone and the symbols written upon it, nothing but terror entered your heart as you stood upon it or stared upon it.
I see writing, and it fills my heart with dread. I am not afraid to say that I'm scared to proceed, but we should, and we should do it quickly.
Don't be scared. We're all here for each other. So we will all come out in one piece.
All right.
I already feel like I lost a part of me. Don't know if there's any getting that back.
I think in redemption, we find our courage, and we seek redemption. You will feel okay when this is done.
How long would you guys like to stay in this spot or maybe move somewhere else, or are you pressing forward?
I would think we're pressing forward since we dealt with whatever we dealt with.
Okay. Vigor, you almost seem to feel where to go. You veer off to the left down the chamber, and it's a little further than that as you see statues, well, not really statues, but armor set up along the sides of an antechamber. And the wall on the far side just battered in with sledgehammers, you would guess, but knocked down. Inside, you see a tomb of what you assume to be Lord King. And beyond that, light coming from a much larger room and more chanting. All of you immediately recognize the same chant as the heads on the surface as they were summoning the demon spawn. Same voice, same incantation, the same dread comes over all of you.
We're sure that we want to do this.
Sooner the better. Let's get this over with.
I'm making my gold one way or the other.
You are not far behind me then.
We're already so far deep, we might as well keep going in.
We have come far, yes. Let's see if we can go further. Okay.
He would nod.
Okay. Let us go.
And as you enter the room, it's lit. The only place that you've seen lit, and it almost seems blindingly bright in here, with large bowls on pedestals of a burning liquid all around the room. What you see and hear is the very same priest that you saw in the vision, Vigor, standing, dagger in hand and arms raised, chanting an incantation as blood is pouring into this makeshift altar and carved into the rock itself a horrible image. The blood just pools around it and tracing the symbol itself onto the floor. Looking up, you see where the blood is coming from. Dozens of bodies tied by the feet, all hanging down, throats cut, and blood emptying out of all of their bodies. You see the piles of bodies along the side of this guy has been doing this for a very long time without being stopped. You can almost taste the copper in the air. The archway, the same one that you saw, is glowing, but it's not glowing. It's hard to perceive. It's like a shimmer of blackness and a face peering out. Now, the greenness of the light coming from all the undead seem to be towards the center of this thing as his eyes form and a hand reaches out. What forms in the shadow is this thing as it reaches out, answering the call of its faithful servant. But unlike a typical master rewarding his servant, he cares nothing for the priest and grabs him. And as the form grabs the priest, there's a quick yelp and a half attempt at a scream. As he makes contact with the flesh, the priest withers as if aging instantly and dries into a husk and is pulled into the darkness as this thing peers out and looks at you. Roll initiative and prepare for battle.
At least I didn't roll a 7.
All right. So this is going to proceed as Tyler, Jose, Jeremy, me, Evan. Yes, it has been longer than a minute. Oh, it's an hour. Okay. Yeah, it would still be active. This is not that long after. Okay. Griff, what you see is this thing almost birthing itself out of this pitch blackness. The horns coming down like a ram. This demonic entity doesn't belong here. What do you do?
All right. Griff is going to spin off to the side and try to stealth into the shadows.
Okay.
You need me to roll stealth for that?
Yes, absolutely.
That is awful. That's a 13.
Yeah, it's not even anything close.
All right. Well, he's going to keep trying to circle around kind of to the side, getting out of all the heavy hitters' ways.
Okay. Along the sides of the room are those bowls of flaming liquid. And closer to the portal itself is stacks of bodies, drained of all its sanguine essence.
All right. He's going to try to duck kind of opposite of one of those flaming pillars or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get that in between him and the demon and try to just stay out of sight. Draw as little attention to himself as possible.
Okay. I mean, there's just not many shadows for you to be hiding in this particular room.
Yeah, he's more trying for cover than actually being hidden now.
Okay. So with that one, Jose, it's going to be up to you, sir.
Yeah, after seeing this priest summoning this demon and the demon turning against him, he would kneel down for a second and he would start chanting and he would cast Bless on his three mates, which will give him an extra D4 to their attack or saving throws.
Okay. Is any movement or anything after that, or just casting?
No, at the moment he's going to stay where he's at.
Okay. So that will bring us to Jeremy.
Vigor is the altar kind of between us and where this portal is?
Yeah. Right now you're on the far end of the room. This is a fairly large chamber. The floor is the only thing that really seems to be finished. Everything else beyond that is really like cave-like. Even the archway itself is kind of like etched into it, into the wall itself, the stone itself of the mountain. Again, it's only the floor that was really finished and seems to be anything made. So it's maybe 30, 40 feet between you and the altar, and from the altar to the portal is another 20. But this thing is big and reaching through. Like it grabbed the priest like with one hand and almost engulfed him like a giant.
Okay. Vigor is going to kind of weigh his options for a minute, almost as he simultaneously weighs his great axe in his hands and kind of collects his resolve, and not really, once again, being the brightest bulb, any of the other possibilities might slip his attention. He is going to scream and run forward, trying to call upon his orcish courage, this never back down mentality that he's lived with his whole life. And he's going to run forward. When he gets to the altar, he's going to attempt to jump atop it and then leap from it on his next turn.
Okay. With that, the thing looks at you as you jump upon the altar and whispers a word, but it doesn't come out as a whisper. It's like a hurricane force that hits you in the face. I don't know why I'm rolling. I need you to roll me a wisdom save at a DC 15.
I rolled a 17 on the die.
Excellent. You feel a twinge in your heart, as if you should be terrified right now, but your ancestors are boiling your blood as it pumps through your vein, and your orcish heart stands proud and strong and does not back down from this monstrosity that stands before you. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Evan, it's going to be your turn.
Okay, so not being quite as brave as Vigor, I would take out my crossbow off my shoulder and kind of hop up next to him, but behind him, and see if I can take a pot shot at this demon. That is a 17.
That hits. Oh, now just so I understand, you ran right up to where Vigor is also?
I'm kind of behind Vigor. Just
Okay.
kind of like near the altar, but definitely trying not to be its target. So I'm a little terrified right now, so that's 11 damage as my crossbow bolt hits him.
Okay, yeah. The arrow or the bolt marks true. And while it doesn't really twinge with any kind of pain or really takes any kind of notice of it, you know that it hit. And you just tell yourself to believe that you're causing damage to this thing. After that, I need you to roll a wisdom save for me. DC 15.
7.
Seven. Okay. I need you to take 2d10 psychic damage, and you're frightened.
You want me to roll the D10?
Yes.
Okay, so I take 6 points of damage.
Okay. Yeah. Walking or getting up this close to this thing has terrified you to the core, and you feel it gripping your heart as your heart almost stops beating for a second in sheer terror. I need to look up frightened rules real quick.
I can't move closer to it, and I have disadvantage on attack rolls against it.
Okay. So you can't walk towards it anymore?
Yeah, and then if I try to attack it, I have disadvantage.
Okay. And no, it did take damage, Jeremy. It just doesn't appear to. He didn't take notice of it, I should say. Okay, with that, we're back up to Griff.
All right, I'm right beside one of these bowls, right? All right.
Yes.
He's going to take like maybe a 5-foot step back and just throw his shoulder into the side of the bowl and try to tip it over.
Okay, give me a strength check for that.
Would that be athletics?
It
just
works
straight
out to strength. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can throw in athletics.
All right, because I'm proficient in that.
For sure.
That's a 20.
Okay, yeah. Your little body slams into this thing, and it starts to teeter, and you dig your heels in and push even harder, and the thing the bowl will tip over, and the flaming liquid will hit, and splash across the floor. I need you to make a dex save to not get hit by the flaming liquid that you just spilled all over the floor.
That is a 21.
Okay, yeah, you dodge out of the way. And now, effectively, between you and Everin is a wall of flame between you two and Vigor and Caden and this demon thing.
All right, and he's going to keep moving around to the next one.
Okay. Jose.
So, am I next to the demon, or am I on the other side of the flames?
As far as I know, you were on the other side of, like, the entrance of the room. I didn't hear you move.
I did.
If I'm mistaken on that, let me know. I
think you're right. Damn. Okay. No, because I wanted to do something, but I'm not gonna run through flames. I'm not frame proof. So I will get closer, like a little bit close to the flames, but not enough where it's gonna like damage me. And I will cast my Sacred Flames on them.
Okay. Oh, it fails so hard. Okay, so you call upon Jeremy. How does vulnerabilities play out?
Typically, vulnerability is double damage. If they have immunity or resistance, it's half.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so Everin calls upon the Dawnflower and her sacred flame as he's waving his hand across the flame itself from this burning liquid gathers and moves along with his hands, and he throws it at the demon thing, inflicting how much damage?
10 total.
10 total, so that's 20. 20 total. This visually hurts this thing hard. It does not like feeling radiant damage or the power of the divine beings being used against it. It turns its gaze straight to you, Everin.
Gotcha. Everyone would like stay his ground and just look at him, just waiting to see what it's gonna do. I'm not gonna move or anything. I'm just gonna stay right there.
Okay. Now we move to Vigor.
Vigor is kind of still in that motion where he's kind of taken a one step kind of striding leap kind of up onto this platform. He kind of has his great axe in his offhand for the moment as he's reaching back behind him towards the door that they came through. And as he kind of starts to bring that hand trailing him forward, bone dust kind of comes sailing through the air, through the opening that they just passed through. And he kind of points it at the demon. And you recognize the bone dust probably having come from Lord Keegan, fly directly at the demon and form a similar kind of mark that hangs over the head of this demon that once was on the head of Lord Keegan whenever Vigor was fighting him. Moving Hunter's Mark as a bonus action. Then, kind of as he's still using the momentum for running forward, he's going to leap from this altar, bring that loose hand back onto his great axe up over his head, and come down on this demon's arm that's kind of still maybe somewhat outstretched from having disintegrated the priest, and pulling it back towards the portal. He's going to attempt to attack its arm.
Okay.
Yes. Holy shit. I love it. Yes. Okay. Okay, that's 6. How do you do criticals?
What I've done with the critical that I rolled tonight was I did the maximum first,
Okay.
then rolled an additional damage dice.
Okay, so I've got 11 showing plus 17. That's 28. But because I am a half orc, I have savage attacks. So I get to roll this one more time.
Okay.
And I rolled a 1. So what was that? 11, 17, 28, 29.
29 damage. Excellent.
I apparently like that number.
Okay. With that, I believe it's the demon's turn. This thing reaches out to Caden, smelling the fear on him. This thing lashes out so fast, like 3 swipes of a claw reach out before you can even blink an eye. I rolled a 1, a 3, and an 8. All right, so yeah, it's quick but clumsy apparently, and completely botches a roll altogether. If you see it almost being pulled back in to the shadow. Jeremy and Evan, give me a perception check real quick.
Natural 1.
You'll see nothing.
Got a 16.
16. Jeremy, you notice that every drop of the blood on the floor is gone. The sacrifice was meant to open this portal, and it seems that everything that was sacrificed has been used up. You also notice that when the demon misses Caden, it's not really for a lack of skill or aim. It was more as the swiping is happening, he's being pulled back in, and now he's kind of reaching out, trying to dig himself out of this portal. With that, we roll to Evan.
Yeah, so seeing as I can't move towards it, I'll just... Caden just like shaking as these claws maybe missed his face by half an inch, and he was so frightened he didn't even move. It just kind of like was standing there, and it was lucky that he didn't get torn to pieces. He'll just click the little trigger. It's a natural 1. You're muted.
I said, okay, what's the damage dice on that crossbow?
Oh, that's a D8.
D8. Oh, shit.
+3 if it matters.
Okay, so, yeah, you feel the bolt come into the back of your leg, Vigor. You take 4 damage yourself.
Yeah, he kind of howls out. Ow! Would you please watch what you're doing?
I thought his hand was there. And I would start like clumsily reloading my bolt.
Okay. Are you gonna move at all? Okay. That will bring us up to Griff.
How much fire is between me and this demon? Like, because I spilled all that stuff everywhere.
Well, I mean, there was a good tall wall of it, but through the quick action of Everin and the might of his god or goddess, most of that flame was gathered up in the sacred flame and thrown at the demon. So it's no fire left.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, he's going to take a page out of Vigor's book and just scream, pulling his short sword and his scimitar, and just charge straight at it and leap off the altar, going straight for its face.
Okay.
Can he get there, or is it going to be next turn he gets?
You can get there.
Okay.
Oh, and Evan, the fear wears off at the end of your turn that just happened, so you're not frightened anymore. I forgot to mention that. Sorry.
All right. Do I have to save for that fear too? Because I haven't been close enough to it yet.
After this, you will.
Okay. So that's a 18. 25 for the first attack.
25 for the first attack. That hits.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that'll be.
And Jeremy, can I get a wisdom roll from you? I'm sorry.
Wisdom. 16 damage on that first one.
Okay.
And that's 17 on the second to hit.
That hits.
And 10 damage on the second.
Okay, yeah, this thing is fading fast back into the portal. Your slashes are you don't know if it's causing actual damage to this thing, but it is forcing it back a little bit out of your world, back to where it might be going. I might have come from. And that wisdom save succeeds, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a little further into the portal now. You guys feel as if you're making some headway here, and the day feels yours at this moment. With that, it is Jose's turn.
All right, so how close to the portal is he?
Who? They're all right there. Evan's just a little further back now, but Vigor and Griff are both right on. Okay, yeah, and Tyler, that absolutely, it was a wisdom save for fear, and that succeeds.
Oh, I was asking about the demon. Is he like, did he already went through the portal, or he's almost there?
No, he's still out trying to rip himself out. He's clawing along the floor and lashing out at anybody near him, trying to gain passage into the physical world. He seems especially keen on Vigor. He can taste the holy off of this warrior.
Well, I'm gonna do something really stupid, but I want to rush at him and like try to bash him in the face with my shield.
Okay.
Well, you want me to roll? Yeah.
We're gonna. That would be what, a dash? Yeah. Roll me a melee attack. Look.
You said melee? Alright.
Yes.
Holy shit. I'm sorry, man. I don't know.
Okay, so Everin comes charging forward, screaming his goddess's name. The Dawnflower's image on his shield ignites brightly. It's like he's running with the sun itself at this thing. Vigor, you feel him underneath you as he slams into this thing's chest, and the force of it knocks you off of the demon. And Vigor, Everin pushes the thing more towards the portal. Roll me some damage on that.
Oh shit, I didn't even know I could do damage on that. Do I get any bonuses or not really?
Oh, it's a crit, so you get max on the die, then roll again.
What do I roll anyways? Because I don't know.
Give me roll a d6 for that.
I get a 1.
And add another d6 for radiant damage.
Alright, that would be 5 total.
Just because I think it's cool. So 5 total damage?
Yeah.
Okay. So you feel yourself sink into this thing. Your faith ignites the shield. Your total trust in your goddess to protect you and everybody that you care about in this room ignites the shield, and you're so positive that it's going to end this thing. And when it doesn't, it kind of sets a fear in your heart. I need you to roll at disadvantage for a wisdom save for me.
You got a 7.
You guys a 7?
Yeah, that's too bad, because without disadvantage, it would have been 23.
All right. Well, you take also 2d10 of psychic damage and are frightened. Jeremy, this is Vigor's shot. He sees the shadow consuming his friend, a holy man, a man that he's grown to respect on this journey, swallowing him whole. What do you do?
He just watched Erevan kind of run forward with this radiantly charged shield, and then he immediately starts to falter, and Vigor says, "No!" He tosses his great axe back behind him, skittering it across the floor, and he rushes forward and puts his shoulder up under Erevan's other shoulder, and takes his massive meaty hand and thrusts it out and grabs the wrist of the cleric, and uses his other hand to grab the side of his shield and extends out, kind of re-upping the radiant, blast of this shield, kind of bolstering Erevan as best he can, and trying to help him defeat this creature.
Okay. So you're essentially going to do a trying to think of the best way to do this, because it's not exactly a help, is it?
I mean, I guess if you wanted to cue it off of something, rules is written mechanically, yeah. I mean, it could work that way.
Could this be considered Call on Divinity?
But I don't have any of that stuff left. I've used it all up already.
You know what? I'm just gonna rule you inspired by what Everin just did, and you're calling on your divinity on this one, and the both of you are going to combine the powers of your gods to push this thing. Give me an attack based on that. What would your call of divinity be exactly? I know you used it once this turn or this session.
There are two different types that I can take: Abjure Enemy and Vow of Enmity. Abjure Enemy is the one that I used earlier. It makes creatures frightened, or a creature frightened of me. Vow of Enmity takes a creature and gives me advantage on attack rolls.
Okay.
Maybe it could just allow him to repeat the saving throw.
Okay.
Maybe with advantage, depending on if I could roll well or.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to call this, and this is probably not found anywhere written down, but it seems right to me, that when you grab onto him, you're using every bit of faith that you have. So, in essence, you're making an attack based on how you gain your power, right? So, with that, and a paladin does that with charisma. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
So I'm just going to call this a faith attack. Basically,
I love it.
Roll me a d20 and use your charisma modifier.
Okay, here we go. Okay, it's a 10 on the die plus 3, so 13.
Oof. That doesn't do it. Yeah, you full of piss vinegar and heroism run and try to put everything you have into this, and you feel Everin soaking into the shadow himself, and now you're being pulled in as well. With that, the demon is going to attempt to wrap his arms around the both of you. At a roll of a 19, grabs you both as the push was successful and very successful. While not doing much damage, has managed to push this thing back into the portal. I'm going to need dex saves from both of you or remain grappled and pulled into the portal with this thing.
If at all possible, I would like to opt out of making my roll to give Erevan advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say I wanted to try to push him off so that way I was the only one that got pushed in there with it. So what am I rolling?
A dex save with advantage.
21.
All right. You feel a great orcish hand reach in as the breath is being sucked out of you, and you feel just on the brink of death. and the orcish hand grabs you by the scruff of the neck and rips you back from the darkness. And you see the light of the room light up again and draw your breath, but fall onto your back and into unconsciousness. Griff and Caden, what you see is this thing grabbing onto Vigor back into the portal. And as soon as Vigor himself is through the portal, something happens wrongly. Like nothing of the living was meant to go through this thing, and it causes something to happen. And the shimmering waves are gone, and all you see before you is a stone wall with the same symbol of Orcus that was there etched into the stone itself, as if it was almost like a key to a plane. And you stand there slack-jawed as your friend is gone and another friend is unconscious, and you don't know if he's alive or not. That, my friends, is where we are going to end this session.
Well done, Jason. Very, very well done, sir. That was fantastic, man.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Ah.
Yeah, look at the sucks. It's like I was
Poor
trying.
Vigor didn't have his axe.
Griff immediately steals Vigor's axe.
It's bigger than you are, sir.
He's a fighter. He's proficient.
Guys, I was so excited during like all of this. My heart is like going like 90 miles a minute right now. I loved every second of this, and you guys are freaking phenomenal. Thank you so much for being here. We'll go ahead and call it right here. We'll get some outros if you want to give a shout out to anything before we sign off. Evan, start with you.
Oh, yeah. No, just glad to be here. Looking forward to, I'm hoping to hop in more games on the Absolute Tabletop Facebook group. I don't have too much time, but I look forward to getting to know the community a little bit more, hopefully. But yeah, I don't have a YouTube channel or anything. Just stoked to be here.
Awesome, man. Awesome to have you. Thanks for playing. Jeremy.
Yeah, hey everybody, I am Jeremy, once again with the Erasmus Expeditions YouTube channel where I run games that are kind of like this. And I'm also a third of the Dudes of Yore podcast, also found on YouTube with my friends Jeff Doty and Chad Nick. Definitely come and give us a listen. And man, Jason, this is the second game that we've had of this, and I cannot for the life of me understand why you haven't been doing this for longer. Like, you need to get more of these games going, man. This has been awesome. I'm so glad that you finally made the jump because you've been holding out, man, and this is awesome. So thank you.
Dude, coming from you, that means the world, man. Thank you so much. Jose.
Hey, everyone, this is Jose with the channel D20Say. And yeah, man, it was definitely a pleasure playing. Hopefully I did it right, and I loved it, man. Like, half of the stuff that happened, I wasn't expecting it, and it's great. I loved it. Like, you definitely should run more games, man. Definitely.
Oh, I plan to, man. I really do. I'm hoping to fill out some more videos on this channel. I plan on doing more systems. While I'm not very proficient in rules, I very much get off on story. So I'm hoping to have many different styles and settings going forward. So yeah, thank you. You've been a buddy of mine since the first one. I believe that was the first time we met. So thank you for coming out and thank you for playing, man. You're awesome. Tyler.
Hey guys, it's Tyler. I had a blast. Great DM, great party. What else could you ask for? It was perfect. So thanks. We got to do this again soon.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'll put some more stuff up. I'm a lot like Evan, that I don't have a hell of a lot of time, and adulting and D&D rarely go together. So, Yeah, you too, Tyler. I am very thankful for you being here. Thanks a lot. I've played with you in several other games, and it's always a joy to have you, man. I appreciate it. And with that, I'm Jason. This channel is Smith's Forge Gaming. You've been watching 4 excellent players and a pretty incredible story from my point of view. So thank you all for being here. We will see you next time. Have a good night.